Say what?
All right. So, your album, what's the name of your album that's coming out?
DeCosta. Forward.
DeCosta?
DeCosta is my middle name.
Okay.
Well, I've chosen that to be the artist name of this one. It's kind of like a debut album, in a way.
So we were talking about the challenges. One of the most highlighting, by the way, we're in a new studio, but can you tell? It's not even really a studio. It's a makeshift. You know, I moved recently, listeners of this podcast. But anyhow, we were talking about the challenges of distribution.
Yep.
In music. And can you think of any pros for the way that things are right now? Any pros, any positive aspects of how the distribution method works right now?
Well, as the person who just wishes I was in a band and could just focus on playing with my band and doing all that fun stuff, having to DIY it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't know if there's the pros. Maybe would be vinyl's back, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm printing my album on vinyl, which is going to be a whole process. It's going to take a few months to do that. And then I'm going to be stuck with the boxes and boxes of records and trying to figure out how to distribute them. So I like that format of vinyl. I'm glad that that's back.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I would have been doing that the whole time for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And didn't mess with CDs, but that was sort of the... But even still, there's challenges with any format. But yeah, as far as DIY distribution and having to work within those constructs on the internet, I don't know if there's any pros to it.
Yeah.
I mean,
one of the pros that I could think of is the access to the world, but that's an implied positive, because the reality of the situation is that there's the gatekeepers. Even though you have quote unquote access to the whole world, the gatekeepers don't allow you the access to the whole world. So like if you were to post your song on YouTube on Facebook, let's say, where everybody's network is, probably nobody's gonna see it.
Right. I've noticed that already.
Right.
And with this album, I'm willing to pay for some ads and do some stuff like that.
Yeah.
And play that game to put this out there. Why? I don't know. Because I already have seen. I finally got to the point where I stopped penny pinching and I started investing a lot of my money into my music.
Yeah.
And I really just want to keep doing that. And I've got all kinds of elaborate plans that are going to cost me all kinds of money to do some music, that hiring musicians that, I can't even really afford. But
yeah,
I feel like it's worth doing because I have a vision for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to go into the same thing. Why even pay for an ad? And then at that point, who am I really trying to attract? Do I really need their dollar or whatever I get from that dollar if they pay for the song?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just, I don't know. It's overwhelming kind of, but I feel like I like the album I've made. I've finally gone to the trouble to work on an album a little harder than just improvising some strange stuff, which a lot of times I do, and I like doing that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, well, maybe I'll pay for some ads for whatever reason to try and cultivate, I don't know, an audience or something. That's what you're trying to do, right?
When you write a song, is there a particular goal that you have at all times when you're writing a song, or is it different every time?
It's different every time.
Okay.
And in fact, that's one thing we could talk about as far as writing songs. Early on in life, I just wanted to be part of a band, and just be. I didn't have to be the primary songwriter. I don't have to be the primary singer.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be in a group that, I'm one of the singers or I'm one of the songwriters. But it didn't always flesh out that way. It's hard to keep people together. So you kind of get to the point where it's like, oh man, I've got to put all these eggs in this one basket that I have, because all I have are these eggs in this basket myself. So
yeah.
So you start to realize, wow, I got to be the guy who's the full-time singer, and I've got to hold down the chords while I'm playing the song live. And then I don't have a band to back me up with a rhythm section, so I've got to kind of try and put a little pep in my step.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work. I forgot what you asked now. I'm sorry.
No. I was asking about the goal of songwriting when you're writing a song.
Yeah.
No, but what you were talking about, having to do all those things, it is a lot to do.
It is,
You know?
and so yeah, I don't always set out with a goal. I think when I was younger, it was like I had this vision that I was going to be this big rock star. I had to have I was trying to accomplish a certain thing or say a certain thing, and now that I'm older or whatever, sometimes it's just an exercise for myself to want to try and structure things.
What do you think would have happened if you were whatever age you were, and you became successful, like beyond your wildest dreams, like you're touring the world, and do you think, like you look at the day to day of that you would be happy doing that? Like you think?
Well, it's hard to say in hindsight because it never happened like that to me.
Right, but can you entertain the trajectory for your personality type and what you like? And do you think it would have, or do you think you would have destroyed yourself, like you'd have been a cocaine addict or something?
That's a great question.
No, I think
I'm ready for something like that to happen now, but I don't necessarily want it to happen overnight or get some big viral hit, and then all of a sudden it's like, then you're like, not that there's anything wrong with Vanilla Ice, but he just recently played at the Clay County Fair, and I wouldn't want to necessarily have one song that goes big viral, and then for years you're kind of like, you're the guy you're going out to try and do your set of your new album, and then everybody's just waiting for you to play Ice Ice Baby.
I would love that.
Well, yeah,
I would love it.
Any measure of anything,
like
good, right?
I see like they come to the Ponte Vedra concert hall or somewhere, like, the guy that played bass for Johnny Steppenwolf or whatever and he was with them from like 1968 to like 1969, but that's his calling card, right?
Right.
And he's going around, he's making like $1,000 a gig at every place. I'm like, that's not too bad.
Yeah, whatever you can get, right?
But if you asked like 18-year-old me, I guess I'm just like, no, like I'm gonna be like a rock star, but you don't know what you're asking for.
No, I do at this point. I feel, because I've been around it so much, and I'm a stagehand, so I've seen all the sides of it. But I think if it would have happened to me when I was in my metal band that I wanted, because we had a record deal, and we had an album come out in Europe, and we thought, oh man, this is the beginning of something that's going to snowball, and we're going to work on our next big album.
You're arguing about the video.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet. Exactly. What's going to happen in the video?
I don't think I would have deserved it then, and I'm a lot more humble now. I've come through a lot of stuff. I don't know if you know a lot of musicians who. Oh, that's my bad.
It's fine. No worries.
That's not a big deal. It happens. Who are like, I was thinking about that today. I was like, I know some musicians who really have their shit together, and I know a lot of them that don't. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel if anything's going to mess with an artist or a musician, no matter what art form it is, doesn't have to even be just music, but would be ego, and having a unhealthy ego, having a pretense, being pretentious, that kind of thing. And I feel like I did enough of that when I was younger, and like pining away over how I maybe would say something in an interview. Right. But here I am, just with a buddy of mine, with you.
In his new makeshift studio that I just set up right now.
Totally cool.
Yeah, I mean, people who listen to my podcast, they know what's going on in my life. They know I just moved recently, and
right.
So they're going to understand all this. The changes. It's fine. It's exciting. It's good. I was asking you about the songwriting because I have a feeling like every time I go to sit down and write a song, I feel like I've never written a song before.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm like, this sucks. Like this, because I'm like, I got to start from scratch all over again. And I don't have a formula, and I don't have a method, and I just have to wait for it to come to me. And I can hammer songs out, but I never want to listen to those songs.
Right.
I'm not happy with those songs.
Yeah.
I'm only happy with the
ones where the muse strikes.
Yeah.
Right.
I would rather, seriously, I'd rather create 10 songs throughout my entire life than to make 200 that I'm like, eh.
Right.
Yeah,
Cool. That's a very interesting point about I said the muse, but you're talking about inspiration or...
Yeah, and I know that the work ethic side of it is that even for that to happen, you have to, they call it what, show up. You have to show up to for that to happen in the first place. But, you know, and not every song could be the awe-inspiring thing, you know, but they could be stepping stones to the other work, you know. It's just...
Yeah. I'll say this, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Interject. Talking about the work ethic. And I'd set that down years ago, right? And when I was in my band, we would practice really hard, and we had a pretty good work ethic, you know. And sometimes it was kind of drudgery. It was kind of boring. Like, you go and you're just playing through your set. Like, let's just play the set, you know. But then there might be that moment where it's like, we're just kind of noodling, and then there's some magic new riff that comes up, and then you're really excited because all of a sudden you're like, this is like a new thing, you know, that we're going to do. And so I miss interacting with people. Like, I miss having a band. That's why I have people on the record, because I needed to make that. That's the songs I write lend themselves more to having a band and having other parts, and you know, not just me with the guitar, you know.
Yeah.
But I'll say that showing up for the work. So I set the work ethic down years ago. You might remember when I had my band Pigeonhole. You'd mentioned that before, and we ran across each other at Borders Books and Music, and I had like a 5-piece band. We brought congas and 2 keyboards and so much equipment. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then just trying to get all those people together just to rehearse, it's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but so at some point I just kind of like threw my hands up with that, because I'm not the most prolific songwriter anyway. It's not like lyrics just flow through me and I'm just this. I don't have books of poetry.
Who
well,
is?
there are some out there. I know that I've met some. You know?
Some, right?
They're there, and but at some point I got really interested in just wanting to improvise and jam and kind of noodle around.
That's what I tell myself anyway.
and I forgot about the discipline of trying to, okay, let's practice to a metronome, practice scales, or do some stuff that's like boot camp, you know, that's maybe not comfortable, but I've done enough of that in my life, and now I just want to jam, man. Well, that's cool too. And so for years I just got into that mindset of like, I'm just gonna jam with people and then record it and then kind of edit through it and then try to relearn that to go and do that live, or that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Because that's fun, you know. But a couple years ago, 2018 actually to be exact, you know, Jack Rinka here in town, Chunky Cowboy, he goes by. He started a little Facebook group for songwriters where it's like, hey, you know, I want to do a challenge where we start a songwriter group, and there's 12 months in the year, there's 12 keys, so we just go around the circle of fifths and we write a song in each key every month, and you just come up with a new original song, and like for January it'll be the key of C major or A minor, and then we moved through the circle of fifths. And I was like, man, you know, I set the rule books down years ago and thought I just wanted to make the ultimate dissonant chord or something, you know, the ultimate cacophony. Yeah. You know, I was going to reinvent the wheel or whatever. And so I kind of set the rule books down years ago and thought, oh, well, I've got enough of that. You know, I'm just going to use my ear or whatever. But really, I don't have enough of that. And I'm very indisciplined. And I need more of that boot camp type stuff.
Well, I mean, do you want to be an instrumentalist?
Not necessarily, no, and I don't necessarily want to be a singer. But I'm looking that now as my main axe, is my voice.
You know, when I met you, I was deep into classical guitar.
Yeah, you were.
I was playing Bach and Asturias, and I was working on some of these pieces, not playing all of those, but I was playing some like level 10 guitar pieces. And I got to tell you, the amount of work that goes into that, and then the lack of opportunity for that music. It's a killer, which is why I don't do it anymore. I still practice my classical chops.
Right.
Not as much as I used to, but it really hurts when I go to try to play one of those songs and I can't pull it off.
Yeah.
You know, because I totally lost the muscle memory.
Yeah.
And then what happens if you don't play instruments, listener, what happens is that if you watch somebody play a, let's say a guitar solo in a video, and you're watching them make faces and jump around, the way that you think that it's going to feel when you play it is not how it feels.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so you're like, oh, that is so anticlimactic. Like, because I have to relax so much when I'm doing this that I can't like get into it like that. How I thought I was going to get into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so you never really get to enjoy your work in that regard until you've practiced like a mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do.
Like a crazy person. You got to practice just 8 hours a day and like
Right.
that kind of stuff.
I threw my hands up at some point and I just got into like, okay, I can get together with people and noodle around and jam and have fun. But even then, I still should have been putting in the time in the woodshed to practice scales or, you know, learning theory and looking at instructional videos or any of that stuff. And I still have a goal to do that with my daily life, even though I'm not doing it yet.
Yeah, well, I always think that you have to identify. I've never really been interested in being an instrumentalist. Like, I don't care about guitar solos unless they're weird.
Right.
Like, and especially if I listen to a guitar solo with electric guitar and a rock song or something, and if I, in my mind, I isolate the solo, I go, that is the most bizarre thing that like anybody's ever played. Like, what is that? You know? Like, how does that even work? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I was listening, my daughters, I turned them on to girl bands because there are no girl bands really anymore. Like the Go-Go's and the Bangles and you know, just girl bands. Like the drummer's a girl and it's like whatever. And it's like there's singers like Nicki Minaj and now, you know, like whatever's the other girl. I don't even know what's going on. Like the one.
Yeah, I'm out of step. I'm
right.
out of touch.
So all the singers that are dominating Spotify or whatever, they're just one woman, like one singer, right? And but it's not a band. Like they're not playing the bass and. But anyhow, we were listening to "Walking in L.A." by Missing Persons, which is
I love Missing Persons, man. That was one of the first records I bought with my allowance money when I was a kid.
Okay, well, you listen to that solo in that song, and when it comes time for the solo,
yeah,
and it's just like, and I'm like, what is that? How does that even work?
Yeah,
it's not even musical, but it really works.
Yeah,
right. That fascinates me about being an instrumentalist.
Right.
Not like, look how many notes I could fit into 2 seconds.
I'm with you 100% on that. I'm not one of those guys who can tell you, oh, I messed up going into that 30-second note I have no clue, actually. I get lost pretty quick. I can't really hang with that crowd, and I respect that, and I think it's awesome. Yeah. In fact, when I go to some of those more open jam type nights, you know, I'm amazed by some of those guys. They'll go up there and they'll play the Allman Brothers stuff note for note and everything. And I'm just like, God, that's so cool. They can do that, you know?
Yeah.
But I can't really hang with that. I can get up there every now and then and do something. I went to a Funky Monday jam not too long ago, and I just really wanted to do something. I had my own original song, and I wanted a drummer and a bassist to play on it. So I was there to do that. But then it got to the point where I was kind of like, well, I kind of want to play. I just want to play with these guys. But I was like, man, I can't really hang. Like they said, well, hey, they're about to play Superstition, you know, Stevie Wonder. And I'm like, you know, I was like, I couldn't really hang. I was like, I haven't studied the song enough to go up there and be like, yeah, I'll hang with that, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but then I just wanted to jam, and so I was up there and I had the guitar, and they started playing Bill Withers' "Use Me Up," which is a song that I already know and I play. Mm-hmm. And so I started playing along with it. It's like 2 chords, you know.
Yeah.
And then
it's a great song.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the guy who's up there singing and playing bass, he's really good. He can sit there and dun, 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 you know, and play along with the scales while he's melodizing, and it's amazing. He's like, hey, come on, Jay, show me what you got. You know, he's shining the light on me, and I had to start soloing out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't even know how to solo. But lo and behold, I hit some notes that worked, and I had a good time. But I'm always trying to reach for what you're talking about. And me being untrained for the most part, I sometimes can hit those things, but usually they're just happy accidents, you know?
Yeah. I see really the instrumentalist friends that I know, they're more like mathematicians in the sense that like they like to solve the problem.
Right.
Of the fretboard. And how are you going to get that? And look, this is so sweet. Look, it's also awesome, right? Because they're usually, the great instrumentalist is usually not the great songwriter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm neither, so
like,
I don't know what to do.
Two of them.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about something else about songwriting, and it's like when I sit down to write a song, it's super annoying to me. I have little kids right now still, you know, but what that means is that it's in a different compartment in my life, songwriting. So it doesn't happen on a daily basis as it used to. I don't pick up my guitar in a daydream, right? It doesn't happen. Like I have to be like, I'm gonna do it from 6:30 to like 6.
Yeah, 7. Before I have to go into this.
Right. So the thing is, But still, when I sit down to write a song, when I sit down to express myself on my instrument, overwhelmingly, like 98% of the time, I'm trying to say something sad. You know? And it's not some inspirational quote. I'm trying to express some sort of longing. And that's like my entire life with music, that I'm just like always trying to express some sort of longing in music, you know? And there are songs like, let's say, A Wonderful Life by Louis Armstrong, which is a great song. You look at it on paper, the poetry or whatever, it's like I see eyes, or what, I don't even know the lyrics, right? As a blue, da, 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 and I think to myself, what a wonderful life. You know, yeah, I have that emotion. I don't know how to put it in music, and it doesn't come out naturally. It's not the first thing that wants to come out. I have to craft that song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's either the stuff that comes out of me is either sad or somewhat melancholy, never happy.
Okay.
You know, do you write happy music?
Sometimes.
You do?
I'll say this, like, I think part of the reason I set down the work ethic of trying to write songs a while ago is because it is annoying, and it makes you want to beat your head against the wall sometimes, especially if you have a deadline or you're trying to do it. And so what I noticed was, that's why I got lazy years ago and wanted to just noodle around and improvise, because I'm into weird sounds and I love strange noises and things like that. And field recordings, I'm into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I can get into that, but that's a pretty niche thing. And I'm not under any illusion that I'm going to be the next big rock star or anything, but I did like a well-crafted song where you're listening to words, and even if the words don't have much meaning, but because of the chord progression they're over and the melody, and somehow those words move you now, and you almost can't figure out that mystery, you know. And that's what amazes me about songwriting, which is why I finally hunkered down and made this album of songs, you know.
There's two things that I want to mention. One thing you talk about, you're not going to be a rock star, right? I don't even know if that exists anymore.
Right.
Like, and if it does exist, all of the benefits that were supposedly benefits of being a rock star don't exist anymore.
Right.
Like, you can't, like, if you're a male who wants to, like, reap the benefits of womanizing, you can't do that anymore. Or vice versa, female to males, right? It hasn't been the story, right? But I'm saying,
okay, yeah, that was probably the wrong word to use, rock star. But
no, what I'm
saying
saying is that, like, even if you're a billionaire, like, you can't trash your hotel room,
right? Because
everybody's gonna know about it now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be accountable for your actions now.
Right. So it doesn't matter. Part of what being that bought you was license to just be a child, right?
Right.
Right, and you can't do that now. So, like, what's the point? And then plus, everybody is so all over the place. Like, you ask anybody what kind of music you like. I like everything. I like all kinds of stuff. Like, there is no real scene anymore. The only scene that I can identify is beards and tattoos. Right? And then that, or you're in the business world. You're either doing that, or you're doing something else. And
things are weird now, for sure.
Yeah, and tattoos to me have become, over time, you know, can I tell you a story about Mexico? Coming back from Mexico.
Did you recently went, right?
I did.
I saw pictures and I thought, did he just really go to Mexico?
No, that was the green screen. No, I'm just kidding.
Because you do that sometimes, and I wasn't sure. But then I thought, no, this
tough.
Looks legit. Like,
that's what happens. That's what happens when you get creative with a camera. That's what happens.
I thought that you were really into
Mexico.
I
really went to Mexico, and
how awesome was that? Did
and
you
some
just
of the photos came out
there?
so good.
You drove.
That they looked fake, right? No, we flew.
Okay.
Yeah, we flew.
You and your daughters.
Yeah, I'm not gonna drive with. No.
Right. Okay.
It's too far.
Yeah, and, tell me a story about the. Yeah.
Well, it's related to the tattoos. I went to Mexico, and Mexico is a different country with different levels of poverty and different levels of life is tough, in different ways for everyone, but that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. But I'm talking about, like, kids are more mature than they are over here, so to speak. They already develop a work ethic earlier, so to speak, and just, I don't know why, just the environment of the situation there. And the way that people hammer out life and live life there. Yeah. No tattoos. You don't really see many tattoos. You see them, few Uber drivers might have them or whatever. But the thing is, I get back here. I land in Phoenix, the first airport that I get into the United States, and I land in Phoenix, and then I see dudes, and everybody all of a sudden in America, everybody has muscles, and even the girls, and everybody has tattoos on their legs and dudes on their neck.
Okay,
like, tattoos came with their neck.
They are quite popular.
Like, and you know, and I just came from a place where I bet you if I took that dude's hot water away, he'd just start crying.
Yeah, totally.
But I just came from a place where kids are taking showers in cold water, you know,
right? And
just like no, what is it? No issue, no format, no question. What is it? Like, what I'm saying is no issue, right? It's like I'm taking a shower in cold water, like. But the thing is, we're so coddled over here, but we act so tough. Like, we just look like bikers. Like, everybody looks like a biker. But and the thing is, when I was a kid, if a guy had tattoos on his face, you probably couldn't kick his ass. But now you probably can kick his ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
You know, but anyhow, how does this relate to what we were talking about? Jeez, I got sidetracked.
I don't know, but that's okay. I'm curious if you saw any music while you were over there.
I did.
Awesome.
I saw a live band. And the clarinet player was way out of tune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anything really authentic, or was it pretty
very
touristy?
authentic. No, very authentic. And there's banda music, which is basically a polka band, but they're playing Mexican music with Spanish singing over it. And they're on the beach. And they walk around from umbrella to umbrella asking if you want to hear some music.
Oh, right. Cool.
You know, awesome. And they'll play your song right there, like a tuba's out there on the beach.
Right.
And it's just the coolest thing. Dude.
Nice.
You know, and I was like, man, I should do that out here. Just walk around with acoustic guitars. Hey, you guys want to hear a song?
Well, you've got the mariachi band.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be very hot. That'd be very hot. But
yeah,
something like that. I want to take a moment to try to remember where I was talking about the airport. And
oh yeah.
And I got sidetracked with the tattoos and the thing. Rock stars.
Okay.
Anyhow, I lost it. Sorry, but the thing is, what we were talking about is rock stars don't really exist anymore, and the benefits of those kinds of things. Everybody's all over the place. The scenes.
Right. Well, I guess I've already.
No more metalheads.
Yeah, thinking of it like that, I've already done the rock star thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not really all that good. It's not
okay.
But no, as far as having like a following or an audience, being successful, that would be the goal, I suppose. Now, why not? You know, at this point, I still just want to be the younger kid that I was when it was like I really looked up to Metallica when they came out, because it was like, oh, they don't put hairspray in their hair or put makeup on or wear stupid clothes. You know, these guys are wearing T-shirts and jeans. This is great. So I'd still like to be that guy, but at the same time, I'm not trying to come up with some big marketing scheme of how I'm going to market my face or anything. But I do think of things like, how should I present myself as far as like if I have an electronic press kit or something that I'm supposed to have. You know, what sort of image? You know, so you do think about that stuff.
Marketing is art.
Right.
And the thing, the annoying aspect that I find about marketing now is that online, I feel like a guy inside of a store's entrance on a busy street that is dancing, like, and I'm like I want people to throw me pennies or dimes. I'm like dancing, Scop 2, hit him, do hot 2. I got that from a movie called Life Stinks. Mel Brooks. But he's standing out there and he's really poor and he's like, Scott 2, hot 2, and he's trying to earn money. Busking, yeah. But it feels like you're doing that online. The marketing. Right, ¿qué quieres, bebecita?
She's funny.
Oh.
We're having a good time.
So I feel, but marketing is art. And, Link merch, to plug this thing that I started. Link merch is part of that artwork, right? The selling music exclusively through your merchandise or through some other means other than, like, one of the things that right before we turned the microphones on, we were talking about music and musicians and releasing music, and the big release, right? Does that exist anymore? I'm not sure. Yeah, like if you've been working on your following for a year or two in advance,
right?
And but then are you still a musician then?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because then all of a sudden you're spending all day in press conferences and going from here to there to run errands and do all this. Yeah, it takes a whole
networking
team.
and
It really does.
and writing people messages online and you
Right.
know,
Now you're stepping outside of the artist mode. And not that I think, I sometimes feel like artists try to really put themselves on a pedestal. And I feel like everybody has the ability to work within the arts and should be given, you know, of course some people are born with more God-given talent or whatever. And
Or-
there's
or
musical
uncles.
prodigies. Or,
or
you know,
uncles
you
with
can't
money,
believe-
right?
Right, yeah, there's all kinds of different
Yeah,
things.
right. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying the birth lottery is just a roll of the dice. You know?
Yeah.
So
For sure.
you got to be humble about your accomplishments, you know, because it's like, for example, Jeff Bezos. Did Jeff Bezos go to my high school? No. You know, did he go? Who was his parents? Like, did he go to Harvard? You know, that kind of thing. So some of us were born on third base. You know, and we think we hit a home run.
Right.
So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
right. But you know, it happens. I want to ask you. Anyhow, another thing that I want to say about what you're talking about is the marketing in music. It is something that we all have to do now if we want to be.
Yeah,
if
and
we wanna
I'm
exist.
clueless on what to do, but I'm doing my best.
So I hope that you take on a link merch campaign. I'll help you with it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and but I wanted to ask you: do you have a favorite song? Like, is there songs out there you're like, that is just what happened there? Like, that's just incredible. Like, a handful of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And they don't, you know, and they can come and go. You could be more fascinated with it at some point.
Yeah.
And you could have been fascinated in your past, but not anymore.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely. We were talking about Missing Persons.
Okay. Yeah.
That was one of the first albums I bought. I was in the 5th grade, and that was a
Yeah.
new album. I bought Rush Signals, and I bought Missing Persons Spring Session M. And there was a magic sound to some of those songs, and I think maybe that's just a nostalgia thing because I had it when I was a kid. But
Could
yeah.
be in there.
And sometimes I'll hear a song on the radio, even a new song that I may not even like, and something about the chord progression or the melody moves me to tears, or just the mood I was in that day and the way that the music came in my ears and hit my emotional state that given time. But yeah, I definitely have songs and things like that still stand the test of time from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like The Who, Eminence Front. I'll always say that's one of my favorite songs, and it's just the words aren't even that. You know, there's something about it. It's just something about the way it all kind of gets glued together.
You have to be involved. It's partly about you, the listener, and your schemata. Is the dog biting you?
No, I want everyone to know
Oh, yeah.
that watches it later that if I look strange or like I'm distracted.
Yeah, you see the little dog. Well,
dealing
she's
with
so cute.
Goliath's little
She's
puppy.
so cute.
She's teething and wanting to bite.
Yeah, she's biting everything.
Yeah.
She's biting on the mic cables. So, so yeah, the part of it is you, the listener, and part of it is your schemata and how you interact with music.
Yeah.
You know, there's things that whoever, like my kids, or even just kids born like 8 years ago, right, are they're not going to know the type of courtship that one had with the art form before you can instantaneously get everything.
Right.
And I think what we might be learning right now is that instantaneous access to things, except like stuff like water,
Right.
is overrated.
I agree, 100%.
You know, because you've robbed the way that music is played out as an industry in our planet, right? It's taken away the experience. I think that it's safe to say I love music, and it's safe to say that when I listen to music, I don't enjoy it as much as I used to, because because I've just gotten it for nothing.
The curtain's been pulled back a little bit for
Well,
you too. Maybe over time, you know.
there's no
'cause I've gotten
investment.
jaded over time as well too.
It's not jaded. There's no investment on my part, and I don't see there's no investment on anybody's part, right? There are songs that friends have shared with me that my friends have made a few times, where I just loved the song. I go, this is great. I love it. I never went back to listen to it.
Right.
Well, is it because I didn't like it? No. But it's just because of the noise within the medium. Everything is trying to come through one channel.
Right.
And that's your screen.
Right.
If you think about it, that's one venue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is trying to come through there, including your work, right? And so it just does nothing. The art forms don't mean what they used to mean.
Right.
Like, for example, I'll give you an idea of what it meant for me to discover the Pixies. Okay, I was a late teenager, probably 19. I don't know how old I was, maybe 20. And I went to the record store, and I never had a record player, never had one. I always did cassettes, and I would go and I would get dressed to go to the record store, right? Because I'm going to the record store and I'm going to run into people that are also looking for music. And there's a community of people there shopping, looking through the albums, right? And so I went there and I don't know what the music's going to sound like that I'm going to buy.
Right.
Right. And so I have to go, so the bands and the artists and the graphic designers, they know this. So they have to appeal to you from the beginning. I'm going to show you, you go to a restaurant, I'm going to show you a picture of the food, come into the restaurant, your mouth starts watering, you start smelling stuff.
Sure.
Right. How about if instead of that, as soon as you thought of the Thai food, here, Jay, there it is. Here it is right here in front of you. Like every time you wanted the food, there it is right there in front of you, just right there. What would that do? The anticipation, the relationship building, the world building.
Oh, yeah.
With the artwork, it's not there.
I agree with you 100%. I was about to say just about how in the early days of the internet, when I thought it was the early days of the internet, which was around early 90s, all of a sudden I wasn't just having to look at reviews of music in print anymore in the bookstores, you know. All of a sudden I could be at school and I could get on these groups, chat groups or whatever. This might have been pre-chat, but alt dot whatever back in the day.
Yeah.
.edu, and you could read reviews about music, and there was stuff that I ordered blindly, like not knowing what it was going to sound like, just based on someone else's written description of it.
Right.
So all that kind of stuff's being so just thrown out. They don't teach cursive anymore in school. To change it up completely.
It sounds so funny to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Teach cursive anymore.
Just to come out of left field. But yeah, along those lines, like it's a very limited construct to read. Even people that, oh wow, it's amazing, that are avid readers. I don't read as much as I used to, but it's so great you can get all these books, but then you're still having to look at it through a screen.
Yeah.
That's taking some of the melatonin out of your, stealing it from your eyes as you're maybe trying to maybe drift off and you need to take a nap on that evening flight or whatever, but instead you're reading on, and if you'd have been reading a print-based book, you know, so just that simple construct, right? Yeah, there's all these amazing things. You don't have to carry all these print bulk stuff with you, and you can get anything on the screen, but then you're still having to look through the screen, and well, even if you get the tinted thing that protects your eyes, and still there's a limitation based on that. And that's what I always thought was cool about vinyl when I started as a kid on vinyl, because you had that break where you have to flip the record. So you could choose, well, I can't wait to run over there right now and flip that thing. You'd be waiting almost to get that, or you'd have that natural just kind of, oh, I went and urinated or whatever, or got a drink of water before I flipped it. And that naturally happened. And then when the CDs came out, it was like people started, the length of an LP started to extend out because you had more space on the CD. So albums became more like, instead of 36 to 40 minutes, suddenly it's like, well, you could go an hour.
Yeah.
Go 72 minutes, 80 minutes now. Anyway, I don't know what I'm rambling about. But.
No, that's interesting. It's like there's one thing that I heard a podcaster named Benjamin Walker say, and he said, he goes, it's remarkable how the internet gives you access to everything, and it's remarkable how having access to everything has a lot of things in common with having access to nothing. Right.
That's funny. Yeah, I was thinking of something similar to what you said. Yeah, say that one more time. That's profound. I like that.
No, he said it's recorded, so
that's true.
Yeah, you can listen to it. No, but I was just saying that it's remarkable how having access to everything has so much in common with having access to nothing, or
That's-
feels like having
That's
access to
amazing,
nothing.
because the thing I was thinking, a lot of times you're thinking of what you're going to say when you're still listening. And,
Yeah.
And so the thing that I say to people sometimes, like, as much of a information superhighway as the internet is, it's also just as much of a highway of misinformation.
Yeah.
There's, if not maybe more, there's maybe more misinformation on this amazing technological tool that we have access to than there is good information. There's maybe more bad information out there. So
Yeah, it's not.
buyer beware. Like,
Yeah, that's right. No, but it's not. It is amazing, right? But it's not helpful, like in the ways that. Basically, I think that we're under the impression, in our society, in our very powerful society, I think that we're under the impression that the goal of every day, or the ultimate goal, is acquisition, right? Acquire as much and as many as you can, right? Bucket lists and that's all like
yeah.
Even in spirituality, there's the desire for special experiences acquisition. Like, oh wow, my mind is so blown now. Oh, I went to this yoga retreat and I was just like some other place. It's an acquisition. Like, you want a special experience, right? Instead of finding something else, like a special experience in the mundane or something.
Yeah.
But
you helped teach me about finding the special experiences in the mundane a long time ago. I called you. I think I had taken some weird drug or something, and I called Goliath, for help. It's like, man, I feel like shit, man. I need help.
Big mistake. I'm just kidding.
And you told me about, do something like wash dishes and, get into the idea that you're doing something that's, it's not all that important, but you're getting something done. You're clean, you're cleaning, and that has stuck with me,
Yeah, because we can get into, as artists especially, we can get into the point where we're thinking too big.
Oh yeah.
And too far ahead.
Definitely.
And then so a friend of mine just recently reminded me that you can schedule that thinking. I'm going to do that from 1
Yeah, I'm going to daydream.
to 4.
I'm going to visualize.
And then from 4 on, I'm going to do focused work. Like,
right.
And not just planning and whatever.
Right.
Or just thinking in that way. Like,
I do that a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so you could schedule that too. But, the thing about acquisition, it's like, I think we're going to learn, the internet is going to teach us, the fact that instantaneous things are going to teach us is that I believe that we're going to outgrow the acquisition thing, because we're going to get stuff, and we're going to get stuff right now, and then we're going to realize that even the king back in the 1700s, who had everything, went crazy in his castle. And they were the person who was not supposed to go crazy. The person supposed to go crazy was the peasant who had to go get water every day at the river, but they did not, right? Because their body, I think their biology, through over the course of millions of years, has evolved and has lived as a entity that goes to get water, and that it makes sense to us.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't make sense to just have everything right now. We don't know what to do with that.
I'm glad you brought water up. Honestly,
right? Because you want some?
No. Yeah, that's awesome. I kind of could use some, of course, but
okay.
No. But that's something I'm really passionate about. Is not just to throw a slogan at it, but there's a movement. Water is life. It's a simple phrase, but
we have 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where we're at?
Yeah. We have
good to know.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the big things that I'm really into is water quality and preserving natural springs and doing everything you can to, we're all made of water. The planet's mostly water. It's pretty important to treat it with respect. And one thing I'd love to do if I was to get my van together and go on an independent musician tour or something would be, first, it'd be nice to have a team. I wouldn't want to really just do that by myself.
I'd love to have tour.
Yeah. Well, I literally would love to have a team of people that everybody's passionate about that issue. And when you're going around and you're doing gigs and stuff, you're not just calling out, bringing up awareness about it at your gigs with leaflets or whatever you want to do, or saying things in the microphone, but you're going around and you maybe have somebody on maybe the merch person is or the sound man is a water testing person as well. But like, I think, like, I just drove the entire Blue Ridge Parkway, and I remember from doing it a few years ago in some places in Virginia. You know, you stop to get water, and it's either highly over-treated, you know, like there's so much chlorine in it, it smells like a swimming pool.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or it's scarce and hard to come by, or you have to pump some rusty old pump and the water tastes like metal. And so there's literally a crisis, you know, like people think, oh, they take it for granted. You turn on the sink and, oh, there's chlorine to kill all the microorganisms, so you're good. But that's really not good for you to ingest chlorine either. I finally got a water softener at my house. But anyway, that's an issue I'm really passionate about, and it's the essence of everything. And, you know, if I was to raise money for a cause or whatever, if that's a thing other than, you know, trying to feed myself, would be, you know, that would be the cause, that water is life thing, you know, like that's a movement.
Yeah, it really is. It's so important. You know, the world is covered in so much salt water, right? But fresh water is supposedly the next war is going to be a water war,
right?
A fresh water war.
Well, and the phosphate mines in Florida here, where we're at, it's a complete crime against humanity. I mean,
is it poisoning the water system?
Oh yeah, the way they do it. I mean, there was a sinkhole that opened up a few years ago from these gypsum stacks down there south of Tampa that just bloomed, just all this radioactive water just crashed right down into the aquifer, just broke through, and just just millions of gallons of like radioactive water just went straight down into the aquifer. And the way that the aquifer is treated, just not treated with respect. And that's an issue I'm really passionate about. I wouldn't want to be like Bono or somebody that's going to get up on a soapbox and try to be all political or anything. But at the same time, you know, I do reflect that issue in a lot of my songs, pollution and I love nature. I love clean air and clean water. I think it's a human right. It's a basic right of life, and to anything else is, you know.
Does that show up in your song?
That shows up in the lyrics and stuff like that, and bringing it back full circle to the musician thing, because I know we're wrapping up. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, with talking back about
because I have to do roof work.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I bet. I was wondering. I was like, wow, how is he able to fit me in? He's probably just really wanted to, you know. So I appreciate that. As far as writing a song and being frustrated and stuff like that, because I joined that songwriter group, and I thought to myself, well, you know, I'm gonna do this even if the song sucks and I don't like it, because it's an exercise I need to do. I need to wrap myself around my brain around these rules of these basic musical theory rules and things like this. Working within a key, you know. Yeah. You know, working within certain chords that you can use because you're in a certain key, you know. Yeah. Confining yourself to those rules. That's actually a beautiful thing. And I rebelled against it. I was in jazz band in high school, and then I thought, oh, well, whatever. I've done enough of this studying crap, you know. I'm just going to make my original riff. It's going to be so amazing. And so,
I want to talk about what you were just talking about the constraints. And then songs that are fascinating, and I'm like, how does this work? I'm like, you could do whatever you want. You could just do whatever you want as long as it works, right? And how do you know if it's working? I want to talk about Our House by Madness.
Madness. Great song, right. Great group.
Okay, well, I'm listening to the song, driving down the road with my kids, and I'm like, what is going on with the song? Dun, 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 right? Dun, dun, dun. Then it goes into some whole other thing, da 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 da, and then it goes back to dun dun dun. Our house in the middle of the street, and then it jumps up, I think, in key. Our house in the middle of the street. Our house, and then it goes into diddle 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 diddle.
Yeah.
And then
they're an awesome band.
But I'm just saying, it's like so all over the place. How did they do that? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Who did that? Did the songwriter, did the band do it themselves?
I think it's a collective thing and something like that. I think that bands are magic, really.
Yes, right.
And
no, you're right. I miss that.
And I miss it so much. I mean, and I go to the Casbah on Sunday nights, see the jazz, you know, with Jonah and those guys, and I'm just blown away. And I wish I had just studied jazz at the age when I was always a fan of jazz. So why didn't I want to learn how to play it like right off the bat when I was young? Yeah. I don't know. I just got lazy. My path is my path, I guess. But yeah, I really do. I think a lot of that magic stuff comes out of just the interaction of the different humans.
Yeah.
And that's why my new record, I wouldn't like it if I had played everything
You're
on
having
it.
a conversation.
I wouldn't have liked the album if I had to play everything on it. So I had to get some other
Yeah,
people
man.
on it.
In music, you're having a conversation. When you're playing with other people, you're having a conversation. And there has to be chemistry, just like in relationships and friendships. There has to be chemistry, and you have to vibe with each other. And you're having a conversation, but at the same time, you're painting on the same canvas. Right?
That's right.
And some people's work lends itself very well with each other, and you're kind of like soul brothers, right? And that's in that regard, right? And,
Or just the moment sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but somebody else's input, they have a different instrument in their hand,
Right.
different perception. You're never gonna do what they were gonna do.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? The only way that you can pull that off is if you come up with something and then you let it sit there for a month without you forgot all about it.
Right.
And you come back and you play over it, then you're doing that.
Yeah, true.
'Cause you've become a different person.
I've done that before. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, you've become a different person.
Right.
So one way that you can do that is by having a cue, like in the can, right? You have a cue of enough of these pieces of music that you come back to them and you're jamming with yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
I've done that a lot. And in fact, I've left a lot of ideas unfinished. I became the professional for a while of just leaving a lot of unfinished doodles around. Like, it's just piles of sketchbooks, basically. And I really got tired of that. And so joining that songwriter group again, that just helped me. There was one month where I was just so frustrated and I didn't like the song. I still don't like it. But it's somewhat well crafted. I'm kind of want to pat myself on the back for it a little bit too, even though I still don't like the song. You know, but it's like I pushed through and I finished the damn lyrics, and there was even one that I just went instrumental on because I never could finish those lyrics. But this one particular one, I just was finally like, no, I'm going to push through, and I finished it. And I still want to revisit that now and see if I can turn it into something, but I still may not like it. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't do it necessarily.
You know, Leonard Cohen worked on Hallelujah for 12 years.
Wow.
You know that?
No.
Yeah, his son says, yeah, my dad would be in his underwear in the kitchen in the morning, like so many mornings, working on that fucking song. And he had pages of verses for Hallelujah. He had like the song, it's got like, I don't know, whatever he said, 100 verses. I don't know what the number was, but it was a lot of verses, way more than what's in the song. And he just picked those and hammered away at those. And, you know, it's a great song. His version isn't my favorite. His version of it, like other people's cover versions, I like them better. It turns out that it works very well with mariachi. Like you could put it into the huapango rhythm, that song. And, what is a sad song that you wish you would have written?
A sad song that I wish I would have written.
Like if you wrote that song, it would blow your mind. Like you would be like,
and it has.
How did I even do that? How am I ever going to top that? How am I ever going to top that?
But I'm having to think of someone else's song.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, a great sad song that.
Not that you wish you would have written, but you were like, that you wish you would have written. Like that would have been not for credit, but that you got yourself into that space and you pulled that off. Like you pulled that sad craftsmanship.
One, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Any sad? Oh, you don't listen to sad music?
No, I do. That's the funny thing. It's interesting to me to kind of think in those terms. As far as sad, you know, wow.
Yeah. It's not going to be perfect because I'm asking you out of the blue, and you might say this one, but you're like, oh, I should have said this one.
Right.
But like I could think of one right now. Like we're talking about Hallelujah. That's a really great one. It's pretty sad.
Okay.
You know, and if you can't think of one, it's fine. How about?
No, I can think of one. Like, and one's keeps popping up. So, because it's a great song, but I'm not sure that I wish I had written it or what. But like "Hey You" by Pink Floyd.
Okay.
You know, Roger
sad.
Waters.
It's pretty dark.
It's pretty dark and sad stuff. And that's why I was like, gosh, I'm reluctant to say that I wish.
What about
that song? That album kind of ruined my life as well.
Right.
So.
No, I see what you're saying.
It's a great album, but you know what I mean. It
influenced
me in a dark, maybe negative way. I'm not saying that people shouldn't listen to.
No, it's just amazing.
Dark negative music.
I mean, how many depressions is like Roger Waters responsible for?
Yeah, exactly, man.
Because the Wall just.
Yeah.
took me on the deep end. It's like, it really is that powerful.
I thought it was a good idea when I was having my wisdom teeth out and they give you the dental office gas, the nitrous. I thought, I'll listen to Pink Floyd The Wall. Yeah. And I'll borrow one of my friend's Walkmans with the auto thing so the tape will just keep flipping,
Yeah.
And I should have chosen a different album,
Some
It's like,
music.
Good Lord, man. I mean, I was probably...
What about a classical piece? Do you have a classical piece that you like a lot?
I wish I was more well-versed. I love Kronos Quartet. I love a lot of modern stuff. I love Mahler, if I'm going to have to name drop something to sound educated. To sound educated.
Any particular piece of his?
I can't even come up with one. That's the problem with a lot of stuff.
Okay, what about a song that you wish that you didn't like, but you like it? And you wish you could stop liking it, and you can't?
Wow.
Is it like
Jeez.
Like Isla Bonita by Madonna?
Well, no, because I've learned to embrace my guilty pleasures now. Like I said, I don't really judge stuff as much anymore. When I was younger, I don't like this because of that. Or now I try to find the good in everything. But there's a lot of bad stuff out there. I'm noticing now, like a lot of bad music's coming out, and the way the technology is too, it's making it even worse. Almost like it's even more unlistenable.
So something I noticed about songwriters. Songwriting recently, as I'm 48. I just turned 48 recently, and something I noticed was that songwriting has evolved in a sense that, especially since the internet became what it's become, a very, very short attention span. You have like 3 seconds to get somebody's attention.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Well,
right.
Ever since then, and the amount of time that people invest in their songs, people are trying to squeeze syllables into spaces instead of hammering out finding a better word.
Yeah.
They'll just squeeze syllables into a space. And that's now like they do it like in triplets.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to say that because I don't want to look for the perfect
word.
Right. And I could hear that as a songwriter. I could hear that. I'm like, I don't want to listen to the song. It's rushed.
Yeah, they're just throwing they didn't craft it enough. Yeah, in fact, I've got a song on my new album that's the newest song. It's from this year, which is cool because I've been working on this album a while. There's a song I've been working on for 25 years on there. Strangely enough.
That's great.
You sit it down for 10 years and then you bring it. That's how that much time passes. But there is one song that I wrote in January of this year, and I was sort of doing that with that one where it was like, and part of that was what's really cool. I've got a couple guys from two of my favorite bands on this record. So this particular song, I did a Skype bass lesson with Norwood Fisher from Fishbone, who's been to my house before and recorded, and they're one of my favorite bands from back in the 80s even. So so it was a really big deal to get him to play on one of my songs, and the fact that he liked the song, it was a big deal. And then, I cut the song down in Orlando at a home studio with him live, and a drummer and guitar player, and it was just so much fun.
That's awesome, man.
And I don't know.
That's a big band, though. Fishbone.
Yeah. Well, he
ska. They're like ska legends.
Oh my gosh, ska, metal, funk, punk, fusing it all together. But the cool thing about having one of my heroes, I guess, playing on the record,
is that one of my heroes is playing on the record.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much all you can say about it. I mean, I don't even remember why I brought that up, but there was some reason for it. But
I mean, we were talking about
who knows,
the time spent syllables. And
that's the song that's the newest one, and then I kind of name dropped that in there because I'm excited about that. But yeah,
that's cool. I would
be
excited too.
He heard the mix, and I had pretty much just gone with my demo vocal cut almost. Basically, I learned my improvised demo that I wrote that song. I just improvised in the kitchen, just picked up, played a riff. I was like, I kind of like that. I hit record on my phone, and so there was some of that syllable stuff going on, like you said. So I kind of just learned that because I was like, well, that's pretty cool, and I learned it. And then at his sort of prodding, he was like, he couldn't give me anything specific, but he was sort of like, just a few lyric tweaks or just, I could tell that there was something he wanted me to kind of give it a second look. And which forced me to kind of go back in and kind of go, maybe here I'm kind of throwing in some extraneous words, or maybe I should breathe here.
Right.
And it was kind of forcing me to sort of produce my own vocals a little more than I had. And then I submitted, a newer, fresh version that's a little more spacious. And that's the one that's on the record at this point.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it, man. I haven't heard it, you know.
Right. And we didn't get into too much of that, so maybe next time we can do more.
Do you have a disc with you?
Yeah, I do.
Can you show it to us?
There's
for the people watching, for the 10
this is an old
for the
album.
10 people watching.
This is an old album, one of my weird experimental ones that I'm going to be reissuing.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Fiber
this?
stereo.
Like 03 or something. I'm going to be reissuing this. But yeah, the brand new one is this. It's got the shrink wrap on it.
Oh wow.
And it's got a whole triple fold thing and all that.
So you did the you did the letters with like a sparkler or a light?
Flashlight.
The flashlight. Oh
this
wow.
This is my girlfriend's concept.
With a flashlight, and so what you did was you just spelled it out.
Here we go. Oh, that's okay.
You spelled it out, and it came.
Here we go. That's good.
You spelled it out, and you did it with a shutter speed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was the one that got to. This was her concept, and I was a little skeptical, honestly, at first.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how the hell are we gonna write the words to where they're gonna be legible? Like, she's nuts. Like, in my back of my mind, I'm thinking this, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm open because I didn't really have too much of a clear cover concept.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I need her help, not just as a technical graphic design person, but as an artist too. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of head butting and going back and forth about stuff, but not too bad because I was really open to doing.
Can I see the CD?
Yeah, in fact, check it out because we could show it more.
I'm gonna do an unboxing.
Yeah.
It's the unboxing.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lyric sheet that might fall.
Here
out.
we are.
Yeah.
As you can see, DeCosta forward is the unboxing video.
See there.
My daughter's like watching unboxing toys. Right? How consumer is that?
I can't wait to lay out the vinyl.
How acquisition based is that?
Version, which is going to be very expensive.
Oh, really? She was going to call me really quick. Okay, so here is the inside of the cover. For those of you watching, you could see in my camera that I forgot to wipe down, so it's foggy. And so, okay, sweet, man. You got the ocean there.
That's the Gulf of Mexico. Yes.
We will take the first step. We will spread our wings. We will stand at the edge. We will fly and sing. And that's some lyrics there.
Yeah, it's funny. That was my girlfriend's idea, was to put that particular quote from the title track, and I just thought, shit, why not?
That's awesome. You guys are cool. Tom Waitsing. You're Tom Waitsing it because Kathleen Brennan, it's his producer.
Is that right?
He works on the albums with him. It's his wife.
Ideally, I would have had a cover concept.
This is the CD. My uncle in Mexico. I want to tell you a story. My uncle in Mexico, because Mexico is what it is. He, look, I'm looking at you right there.
I see that.
See that? And my uncle in Mexico is the
CD comes with a holograph of me.
He doesn't have a bicycle light, and he rides his bike like 10 miles a day. He's like 72, and he hung a CD in the back of his bike.
Good idea.
Like this, and it's super reflective.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm saying, because people don't listen to CDs that much, I know you made CDs. We talked about this in CDs.
Awesome.
You could tell people, look, I have this fancy reflector.
It's, yeah.
But it's got music on it too.
Yeah.
And look at this cool ass case. It's got a bicycle reflector.
Right.
And then people are like, what?
Or a coaster.
And just show them a picture of somebody using it like that. But check this out. Not only is it a reflector, but it's got some awesome music on it too.
Right.
Check it out, dude.
You still have a player.
No, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I just mailed 3 copies of that to those guys from LA, Norwood, and John Stewart on drums, and Jay O'Keefe. And I mailed 3 in one package for the guitars to give out to those guys. And I said, I hope you still have a CD player, And he was like, I'll dust one off somewhere. I was like, fair enough. Yeah.
It's funny. It's a peculiar time. I think CDs were my favorite medium because of the sound quality.
So you get the lyrics thing too. Oh.
You're talking about the insert.
Yeah. Get the lyric insert, and I don't know.
Perrita.
Why not? But I'm looking forward to laying it out on vinyl too. That's gonna be an expensive process, but it's gonna be cool. I felt like I had to get CDs. Yeah. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, there's no reason to make CDs."
No, I tried to talk you out of it.
A lot of people did. Just about everybody did. And it is somewhat naive to think that I'd even be able to make my money back on them. But it is worth doing because I do play gigs.
Well, people buy them to support.
Yeah.
But again, like, people don't listen. What happens with a CD? I have my own CDs. What happens with the CD? I put it in the computer, and then I upload it.
Right.
And then there it is.
Right.
Right. And that's just.
Yeah. It's going to end up on somebody's shelf or just in a pile or But I feel like it's kind of like pressing business cards. I needed to do it.
That's why we'll explore the idea of the reflector. Maybe I'll make my next CD with 2 extra holes.
Right.
Somewhere in the top. So the last tracks are not going to be viable.
Right.
Because you can't play them.
You can only put a certain amount on there because of those
But the
holes.
sampling might still make it work because, cracked CDs still work.
Yeah.
It still happens. Still grabs the data.
And that's like a thing. This music that sounds like skipping CDs is a whole genre.
Oh, really?
That's like a thing.
Okay.
People are into it. Yeah.
That's cool. People can do whatever they want.
I guess we should wrap this thing up.
Yeah, we should.
Pretty informal. I like this. This was fun. I don't know if anyone will care or want to listen to it ever besides me.
No, they do. I have about 250 steady listeners.
Well, cool. Well, sorry, everyone.
But people don't watch it.
Right. But either way,
Yeah,
I'm just
but
apologizing
I just do it
to
anyway
anybody
because
that,
you have the opportunity to.
Yeah.
I do the video more for myself because, like, maybe one day I want to go back and visit this conversation.
Yeah.
See?
Right.
So I decided, I started doing the podcast because I went through this thing that caused me to write a book that I have a manuscript.
In between screens?
Living between
So
screens.
I love that
I have a
concept.
manuscript that's about 150,000 words. And the thing is, I went through this thing that caused me to write a book about not having the internet at home. Well, I started off as an article that I just couldn't shut up about. And I realized I had a ton to say about this subject because I care about it so much. And I'll tell you, just in a nutshell, I care about it very much because the internet is wedged itself in our lives in a place where it's a very fluid. It's wedged in a place where the area where we make decisions. Perrita, no hagas esto. The place where we make decisions, that's where it's wedged in. Where we're making our decisions. It's influencing our decisions.
Yes.
So that's a very dangerous place for any company or government or anyone to be in. It's very totalitarian. It's very
yeah, I agree 100%. It's very dystopian.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
it is totalitarian. I'm glad you said that. That's going to keep me awake at night now.
So that
on the internet, figuring out how to overthrow the internet.
No, so that book why the hell was I talking about that book, man? That's what
Reflectors.
I do.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I can notice that.
Well,
that's good.
Anyhow, did you ask me something?
I don't remember. That's the problem.
Well, we were wrapping up, but the thing
is,
I was talking about that book because of the internet and what got me into that. And then,
limited construct.
Yeah, this is what happens, man. I get these ideas with big horizons that I want to talk about, and I want to start from the left.
Right.
Instead of
you lose track, and it's like, wait,
and I'm like, where the fuck was I going? Like, where was I going?
Wait, what was the bridge? Where was?
And it just doesn't work. The mind just doesn't work that way.
I'm in the same boat.
You know,
I think that's what's cool about this format. Just having a conversation. I've not even looked over at the screen, and then and that's good. And I've been distracted by the dog. Because if I was,
this is early morning, by the way.
It is, and if I was looking at the screen, I would be distracted by the way I looked, and I'd probably have some unnatural look, which is I probably look pretty unnatural as it is. See,
well, you get used to seeing yourself on the screen.
Yeah,
like because you're not used to thinking of yourself making bizarre faces.
Right.
Like, but when you see yourself singing, like somebody takes a picture of you, and like I'm making a trumpet sound.
Right.
And my mouth is going like.
I make really bizarre animated faces as it is. So.
No, and then somebody takes your picture when you're singing, and you're like, that's kind of a weird shot.
Yeah.
But you get used to it. You're like, oh, well. Right. That's how people look when they're singing.
Right.
It's how people look in the morning. It's like,
exactly.
All right, man. You know what? This is one of those situations we can have a podcast for 3 hours, but we don't have time.
No, we don't.
Not because we don't have the time.
Now, are you going to go back later and edit this and put in any other sound effects, or this is raw?
It's going to be like stuff. This.
Okay, cool.
This particular one, I'm not even going to have intro music.
Cool.
For it. But it doesn't matter, dude. It's not a radio show.
We're just hanging out.
No, people love it. People love listening to conversations. There's not enough conversations about songwriting.
Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that as much as we could have probably, but we'll do that.
We talked about it quite a bit.
We did. I think we both are interested in it, and we're into it, and we were passionate about it. And I think you're more similar than I thought to some of the shortcomings that I thought I had as far as self-esteem or security issues. And I see them coming out of you, which I had no idea that you had those types of same concerns or limitations within yourself. So we'll have to talk more about it next time.
Oh, no. If you want to talk about that, I'm going to have to cancel all my appointments today because I can talk about that all day. Like, what I mean is that, no, man, I have artists have profound doubt.
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah.
a world where, look, I'm involved in the roofing industry because of COVID. Essentially, that's what
That's what
pushed me
got you into that.
Right,
Yeah. Which is
and
interesting.
the roofing industry is an industry that is established.
Right.
It's got a pipeline, and you can plug into it. Same thing with InfoSec.
That's
information
probably
security.
true with music too, right?
But no.
It's not.
No,
true.
because every artist has to invent a career
That's
from
true.
scratch.
Right.
There is no, I'm going to go to this school, and they're going to teach me this,
And I'm going to get these amount of gigs. Right. That's true.
Every artist is starting from zero.
That's true. That's true.
And that's nerve-wracking, you know? And then, and then not only that, but you're introducing what in some mornings seem like asinine ideas to the world, and other days just seem to you they're brilliant. Right? And you just have to...
Are you talking about with these podcasts or with songwriting?
Any creative endeavor.
Any kind of content that you're putting out there.
Every artist is going to have that Sunday or whatever day that you pick out of the week where you're like, I'm just an idiot. I'm just like, why am I even doing this? What am I even doing? This is so stupid. You know, I should just go get an accounting degree or something.
Yeah.
know?
Hey,
It's
I've
like-
tried, man. No, not really. I haven't tried at all. But yeah, no.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. This has been fun.
JPL, ladies and gentlemen. What, do you have a website?
Probably.
What is it? JPL.com?
No, I don't have an official thing like that anymore.
No, you don't? JPL, Peele.
J Peele, Peele. My middle name is DeCosta, DeCosta, and that's what
Okay,
I'm going to
yeah.
go by for the new thing. So.
All right, sweet, man.
Yeah, buddy.
DeCosta.
I love Goliath. Thank you, my friend.
All right, I love you too, buddy.
This was fun.
All right, I'm going to see if this stops the recording.